Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Take Back My Brain. Again, I'm your host, Laurie Hammer, and today I have with me Janet McConnell, and she is a speaker, author, and fitness coach, and she is here to shatter aging. So, any of you who are worried about aging, we're going to have this amazing conversation. We're going to bust the status quos and everything that we've been lied to about. So, Janet, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lori. It's my pleasure. I'm really excited for this conversation,
Me
and
too.
it's a privilege. I appreciate it.
Yeah, because aging is just a number, right? Aging is whatever we want to make of it. Because I know I feel better at 51 than I did at 41, and I want that to keep going. So you have an amazing story how you got to this place. So could you share with us how in the heck did you get to work in this aging space?
Well, it's funny because when I started out, it wasn't at all what I had in mind.
Right? It never is.
When you go through a transformation in the moment, you're doing something for a certain reason that's maybe more compartmentalized. And then you look back 20 years later and go, oh, I guess I was actually going to do this.
Right?
Yeah. But I would say, well, just to start out, to give a little bit of context, I grew up in a very active family, very healthy eating. I was raised a vegetarian
Oh,
and I
wow.
was always outside playing. So I was a little athlete as a kid, as a teenager, probably into my early 20s. And then I got into my corporate phase of my life where I had, really interesting and demanding jobs.
Mm,
And I just became enamored of that, that world. And oddly, because I'd always been healthy and robust, I took that for granted. I just thought that just comes with my genetics and
right.
fine, and actually even as I became less healthy, I gained weight.
Mm,
My blood pressure was starting to go up. I still felt really good. Like I still had a lot of energy, but I
yeah.
was getting worn down. And in my mid 40s, I was 46. I went for an annual physical, as one does, and my doctor just had this really somber look on his face.
Mm.
And he actually, instead of just saying, bye, see you next year, you're great, he had me sit in his office and,
Ooh,
like a private conversation about, I don't know
yeah.
what's going on, but your blood work is way off. You've got high blood pressure, high triglycerides, high cholesterol, and you're borderline obese. And what this tells me is you have early signs of heart disease.
Oh, okay. Not what you want to hear.
Now, at 46, I was like,
No.
no, I'm not taking this, I'm not taking this lying down. So he, of course, as doctors will do, he had a stack of prescriptions that he was sliding across the
Slide it across
table.
the table, right?
I'm like, no, no, wait, wait. So I knew him pretty well. I had been going to him for a few years, and I bargained with him, and I said, give me 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I promise I will come back in 6 months. And if those numbers in on the blood are still not in the safe range, then I'll take your prescriptions. And he's like, okay,
Because I've
like,
heard that before, and you'll be back
yeah,
in 6 months, and I'm going to give you these prescriptions. So why not
yeah,
take them now?
you're putting off the inevitable
Yeah.
because diet and exercise and stress management won't have any effect on this. I was like, oh, challenge accepted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but I was really devastated by that news because I didn't think of myself as someone my parents' age who needed to take blood pressure medication or whatever.
Right. Right.
My parents were seniors by then. They had me late in life, so they were already senior citizens and they were pretty healthy. But yeah, my dad had to take some meds. So I thought, not me.
Mm-hmm.
And so after I had a good cry in the car, I went back to work, pulled myself together, and I told my boss, I said, I don't know what, I made a bargain and I have no strategy. And she said, oh, she goes, well, at least sign up with a trainer. She goes, my trainer's great.
Right.
He'll he'll make it fun. He'll work you hard. You'll feel good. He's fine. Just go to him. Here's his number. So I called him and he was good. And
Uh-huh.
he did, but he only had like 5 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yikes.
So I
Did you
was
take
like,
it? That's what you did?
yes,
Yeah, that's a commitment.
right. I thought, okay, Janet, are you doing this or not? And
Hmm.
so I started in and, 3 days a week. And 6 months later, I had lost 38 pounds, not even from changing my diet, mind you. That's where I
Hmm.
leveled off because I needed to fix my diet before I would have any more progress. But still, that was a lot.
That was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, just from exercise. And he said, all right, don't quit. I want to see you again in 6 months because he thought, that's when my annual should be.
Right. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was kind of on my way at that point, but I wasn't a competitive bodybuilder yet.
Hmm.
I met a couple of ladies that trained in the gym at the same time I was there. They showed up soon after I'd gotten this reprieve from my doctor. And they were a little bit younger than me, but they were lifting the same weights as me, and they looked incredible. They
Hmm.
were, just very lean and muscular. They had like little washboard abs. And I was like, wait a minute, to my trainer, why do they look like that? And I look like this. And we're curling the same weights, we're
Uh-huh.
lifting, everything's the same. And he goes, oh, well, Janet, those are competitive bodybuilders and they are in a show in 5 weeks. So they have to eat strategically.
Hmm.
What is this eat strategically thing you're talking about? And he said, oh, well, it's really hard. You wouldn't like it. Most people quit. I was like, I want the diet. You-
You're up for that challenge. I already lost 38 pounds, so let's go for another
yeah.
step here.
Well, and I'd reached a goal and I knew that I was going to keep training because it was
Hmm.
part of my lifestyle. That's long enough to make it like, okay, I'm going to keep
Right.
doing this. Um, it helped me manage the stress from a wild job that I
Yeah.
traveled all over the country all the time. And so I was jet lagged and it
Yeah.
really helped me with that, with mental fog, brain fog, and mental clarity and energy. I slept better. I was doing all these other things. But so I cajoled him into giving me this diet.
Uh-huh.
And a year later, I was on my first bodybuilding stage.
Wow, that's exciting. So you
Yeah,
went from losing 38 pounds to another year later, you were on a bodybuilding stage. That
exactly.
takes a lot of commitment. So your mindset in all of that, Janet, was the biggest driver, wasn't it? Because you just made that decision.
It started out, I've thought about this. It started out as action first, just
Mm-hmm.
like almost like knee-jerk reaction of
Yep.
action. It wasn't carefully planned. I
Yeah.
wasn't thinking, okay, I need to change my habits. Where should I start? Oh, I'm going to be really careful about eating more vegetables. And I didn't, and I just started. And then as I began and as I took action, the habits formed a ring around those behaviors.
Right.
So the habits came as a result of the action, which is kind of sounds backwards, doesn't it?
Yes and no. It kind of just depends on, I guess for me, because I understand what you're saying, because when you
Yeah.
change and you do it long enough, you create a habit and then the habits change your life again. So yeah, it's like this beautiful circle, this dance that you have going on with all of that.
Yeah. And that's what then led me to realizing. So I competed all the way through my 50s and into my 60s. I'm going to be 70 next year. And
Amazing.
I'm going to get on stage again. So
Are
I'm
you?
training right now for next year so that because just I don't even care about a trophy or winning. I care about getting up there and like, oh my God, she's 70,
Right? Yep. If she can do it, I can do it. It's such an
Exactly.
inspiration. So
Yeah.
how is this like spilled over into the rest of your life?
Well, it changed my life in so many ways. It really made me a different person. I mean, I have before and after pictures in my book. People are just like, no way, that's not even the same person. I really do look like a different person.
Hmm.
But you can see my features, but it's like, it's different.
Totally different. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say one of the things it did was it gave me this conviction of wanting to spread the word and do this and to support other people who might have been in the same place I was, where I'm just like, okay, I'm 55 and my kids are out of the house and I've got this, belly but I eat healthy. I don't know, uh, what do I do, And
Hmm.
so that was kind of like my sweet spot because I knew what to do. And
Right. Yeah. And movement is key. Movement is healing.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Getting moving because a lot of people, most of my clients are semi-retired or retired.
Mm.
So they've got the time. Often they have, the expendable income to
Yep.
train with a trainer, but they've spent all their lives dedicating themselves to family and career and taking care of their aging parents. And they're
Hmm.
just pulled all different directions, and there's no time left for them. And maybe they go to a yoga class or something, which is fine. It's a good companion to
Yes.
resistance training, but it's not enough to really build large muscles to have that muscle density that we need going into our senior years.
Right. So talk about that. Why is it important to build your muscle density?
Oh my goodness. It's really coming to the fore. I mean, I would say back in the mid 2000s, like 2005, 2006, the Blue Zones came out.
Yeah.
And you and probably some of your listeners are familiar with it, where they discovered that a combination of movement, daily walking movement, not
Hmm.
weights, but just movement, the Mediterranean diet, and the social connection.
Hmm.
Those were three things, and there's little pockets all around the world where centenarians arrive at age 100 with no illness and no disease.
Yep.
And they end up living a happy life and then die,
Because
at
their body's done.
506 or something.
Yeah.
But it have a wonderful last quarter of their life because of the quality.
Right.
So that came out and that was great. And it's true. All that's still true. It's not controversial anymore, though. So
Hmm.
what's been more controversial is that the latest double-blind peer-reviewed research papers that are coming out kind of around right after COVID is when they started to be published
Hmm.
in for the public eye because they had studied it long enough. So there's longitudinal data and also had a large enough sample size to make the study really valid,
Mm.
that they showed that the most important thing above those other three even is muscle density, muscle mass on your body is more important than any of, because if you do all those other things, but you have become kind of losing muscle and becoming more feeble,
Hmm.
more kind of rickety, then those other things will not save you.
Right.
So what they're saying basically is a statement that Dr. Gabrielle Lyon says, your skeletal muscle is the organ of longevity, which is a
Mm.
powerful statement.
It is a powerful
So
statement. Yeah.
you have to be able to climb stairs, get up out of a chair, showering, using the toilet, all of those things require muscle strength. So if you lose that ability as you're older,
Yeah.
that's when you go into assisted living and you need
Right.
people to help you.
And you don't
So
want that. Nobody wants that. And there's things we can do to prevent that.
yes.
So, I mean, you changed all this at a critical point in your life. And, what would you say to the listeners out here there? Because you were just saying, I've taken care of my aging parents, which is a huge issue right now, for sure. My kids have all these activities and we have stress at home, and I am doing a lot of the right things.
Mhm.
But my time, like, how do I do my knee hurts, or my back hurts, and so how do I get into something like this? Because I just that seems overwhelming to me.
Right. It is overwhelming when you realize that it's going to take portioning off a little bit, a slice of the day or the week for
Yeah.
yourself. And so I think the first thing a person needs to do is look at their parents and decide, is that what I want?
Mm-hmm.
If it is what you want, then do what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want something different or better, then you have to change the narrative. And you have to decide, how much do you want to enjoy your life in the last decade of your life? What do you want that to be? Do
Right.
you want it to be where you are still engaged? If you are still participating in your family and your circle of friends? Do you want, if there's, this is the thing, we're more afraid of getting old than we are of dying.
I
And
know,
it's
right?
because we see what could
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
So how do we prevent that? How
Hmm.
do we change it so that actually we are vibrant all the way through? We become like Betty White,
Oh my gosh, yes.
or Dick Van Dyke.
Yes.
They're just, I mean, Dick Van Dyke is still tap dancing and he's a
Hmm.
so I tell people this is what I would tell to your listeners. Number one, it's mindset. So you have to get still and think about what is it that you want the last 10 or 15 years of your life? What is it that you don't want to give up? Is there something that you love right now? World travel
Hmm.
or being able to pick up a running grandchild, squat down and pick him up without throwing your back out?
Right.
Is being able to carry your own groceries, be able to be independent, drive, all those things where you don't have to rely on somebody else constantly to help you. Is it golf or pickleball or hiking or whatever the thing is? I mean, you know, the example I can draw from is I have a lady who's 82 and she had a bucket list. So maybe your listeners have a bucket list too of things that
Hmm.
they want to do. And so how do you make it happen? You schedule it, you plan for it, you back it out so you can see if you're going to save enough money to do it or if you're going to have the energy to do it. And so what she wanted to do, she had visited 5 continents. She wanted to see the other two. And she
Okay.
wanted to do something kind of badass when she was there.
Right.
So she hadn't been to Australia and she wanted to scuba dive on the Great Barrier Reef.
Oh yeah.
So she got her certification at 82,
Good for
which is
her.
pretty wild, but it bothered her that the people on the boat were having to help her with their oxygen tanks because above water they're very heavy.
Very heavy, yeah.
Yeah. So she was dragging and then people would come over and help her and she's like, I want to be able to do that myself. I don't
Hmm.
want to be helpless.
Right.
And so we trained for like 8 months before she went on her
Aw.
trip. And so she went to Australia and she went scuba diving on the Great Barrier Reef and she was able to carry her tanks. And I have pictures of her, underwater with her mask and the bubbles, and the
Oh,
blue.
that's so fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Aw, I love
So
it.
and then on to Antarctica. She went to Antarctica and was able to hike on the glaciers. So this is a woman who she had a lot of injuries. She had a sore knee. She had an old rotator cuff injury that never healed properly. She just didn't take care of it because she was raising a family.
Right. Hmm.
And so even at 82, she was like, wait a minute. I am not going to let this get by me. I want to do this. So I'm going to set aside time and make the effort. And she would arrive at the gym and go, "Oh, I'm so tired today. I don't feel like doing this."
I've done that too.
Yeah. It's like, but she had a trainer.
Hmm.
And same thing with me, the trainer takes you
Yeah.
and helps you get through it, encourages
Yeah.
you, adjusts the training for your energy, whatever. So your folks should look at their schedule, decide what they want, and start by carving out an hour a week.
Hmm.
Start there.
Yep.
And for resistance training, if they've never done it before, I encourage people. There's a lot of videos out there on YouTube. They're all over the place as far as their efficacy. Some are good, some are kind of so-so. Some
Yep.
of some of the exercises aren't that effective, but it gets somebody moving. I don't know. My opinion is that if you don't want to invest in a trainer long term, because it is people think of it as a nice to have, not a must have,
Right.
then what you can consider doing is hire a trainer for 1 month and,
Hmm.
and have that be the agreement up front. So there's no obligation to continue. And then their job is to train you how to use the gym
Hmm.
and to write a program for you and teach you the program and get you started. And then you do that program until it's easy. and then you hire them for another day or two later down the road
Yep.
to up the game. And you can do it piecemeal like that. You get protected from being injured. You don't feel silly walking around the gym not knowing what you're doing,
Right.
and then you've got a program so you know what to do. It's a pretty nice compromise if you don't want to go all in like I did.
Yeah, absolutely. Can these trainers write programs for people to do at home too?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, and I would interview. And one of the things you might do is if you have a gym near your house where you might go, at least for this part, go and get on the treadmill at the time of day when you would want to train and watch all the trainers because they're around the
Mhm.
floor training other people. Watch them like a hawk. Notice how they treat their client. Are they, looking on there? They're like, yeah, okay, do your walking lunges. All right. Oh, hi. Hey, Sheila. You know, they're while their client is doing the walking lunges incorrectly
Mm-hmm.
is
Right.
a huge pet peeve for me.
Yeah.
Or are they right down there on the floor with the person counting and helping them and encouraging and correcting their form and just right there with them?
Yeah.
That's the one you want.
Yep.
And
Because
also if
form is so important, right?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because you have to have form in order to get the function.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you do it wrong, on worst case, you get hurt, like your lower back,
Yeah.
and if you have knee problems, I have two knee replacements.
Oh,
So,
wow. And you're
but,
still doing all of this, which
oh
is
yeah,
so good. Should be encouraging for people out there.
yes, I
Yeah.
have two knees. So, I did all my physical therapy after the surgeries, a
Mm-hmm.
couple of months, 6 weeks, whatever, and then went right back and started training again after I was, strong enough again, and just slowly work back into it. But there are lots of techniques for somebody who has problematic knees. You could consult with a physical therapist that you trust just to get some stretches and some exercises, and they can diagnose if you're imbalanced, if your hips are off. They can help you
Yeah.
with those little fine-tuning things and give
Right.
you exercises you can do at home too.
That's awesome. I love it. And so how does this turn back the clock? I mean, so you get a little more function, you can like get yourself up off the floor, you can do crazy things, like your scuba dive lady. But
Yeah,
for the average person, if maybe they don't have those goals, what is it going
right.
to do for them?
Okay, so muscle mass does more than just make you strong.
Okay,
And
perfect.
it's not just for bodybuilders anymore. It's for everyone. And here's why. Because when we put a load on our muscles, meaning you're doing something that you feel effort, like if you've ever moved and had to pick up boxes and
Hmm.
carry them or lift a couch, those kinds of things, you're sore the next day.
Right,
I get sore the next day because I don't do that all the time.
right.
So anything that is effort like that, where you're really putting a lot of extra weight on your glutes, your hamstrings, and your quads, those are your
Yeah.
big engines. What it does is it releases it's a protein called brain-derived neurotropic factor.
Hmm.
And what this does is it sheds all over your whole body. It floods your body with a substance that makes your nerves grow. So they make better connections. It'll help reconnect things that are getting frayed. It will regenerate connection and it will help grow new nerve cells.
Which
And
is
it
amazing.
and that's why. So, and it doesn't stop here. It's not
Hmm.
just down here around your legs, it's your whole body and it goes into your brain and all of I mean, that's just your nerve center, right?
Right.
So that's why they're finding in these studies that it will stop the advance of dementia. It slows
Mm-hmm.
it down because they're starting to get that regeneration, that neuroplasticity comes back in. There is no cure for dementia. There's no cure for Alzheimer's. It's progressive, but they have proven over and over that somebody who is in the early stages
Hmm.
will have a sort of an arrested development of the disease. It will
Yeah.
slow it way down. And the more you slow it down, the more you buy time to find a cure, right?
Right. And there are things you can do to reverse those things as well. So, and fitness is just part of that, building the
Right,
muscle to reverse the Alzheimer's of the dementia. And then you throw in nutrition and diet and
right.
very targeted supplementation, and it's a
Yeah.
winning combination for sure.
Yes. But it's made a huge difference. I have two clients, had more, but I have two right now who are in the early stages of a neurodegenerative disease. There's
Mm,
Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis,
yep.
and they have, this is what made me so curious. I didn't even know that this research was out there. But in the last few years, I've noticed they go to their doctor that helps treat this disease, and they take a few pharmaceuticals to help with some of the uncomfortable symptoms of their condition. But their doctor comes back and says, I don't know. I don't understand why you're not getting worse because they don't realize, they don't know where it's coming from.
Right.
You
Right.
know, it's
Yeah.
just like, because sometimes these diseases do have a little mini remission, you know,
Hmm.
but this has gone on for 3 or 4 years. So
Yeah.
it sticks out because
It does stick out. Yeah.
they're seeing people that have it and they know what to expect. And what's happening is not what they expect.
Which is beautiful because who knew that if you move your body correctly and you eat and you take, targeted supplementation, that things could change,
Yes, yes.
right?
And
You
of
can
course,
remove the interference and your body can heal.
right, yes. And your body benefits so much. You become more aware of what you're eating. You start to have a respect for how hard your body works, and you watch it change. And you're like, why am I eating this bag of chips right now? You know what my body needs? I need to have like a really good fish meal, or some
Hmm.
kind of eggs, like meat, fish, eggs, vegetables, and fruit, because that's what my cells are asking for. You get this kind of respect and you feel this kind of efficacy about what is it you're doing? Why would you have a beautiful car and then put garbage gasoline in it?
Hmm.
You put the
Yeah,
high performance gas into a high performance machine. So
exactly. And it just changes your thought patterns. You were talking about the BDNF but it also increases your neurotransmitters and, all those
yes,
kind of things in your brain. So
yes,
can't help but think differently.
yes.
Right? And your
It's
outlook, depression lifts, anxiety is less.
yes,
You look at your husband completely different. You enjoy other people more. I mean, there's so many positive things just moving and lifting, lifting
yeah,
weights. Yeah.
yeah. It makes everything open up. And I think that those things you just described are because you end up liking yourself better.
Yeah.
Get this kind of respect for who you are. You start to set boundaries, and you start a new exercise program, or you're eating differently, or you decide to give alcohol a rest for a while.
Hmm.
Your friends are going to go, "Hey, what's up with that?"
Right.
Got
Right.
to be ready. You got to, when you make a change, people are going to notice. So you have to really be firm in your resolve. Be the candle that is held up for
Right.
everyone.
Right. Because
Don't,
your discipline spills over to help
yeah,
other people. Yeah.
you
It's
can
all about
help.
the intention and the mindset of it all.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Any other benefits that you can think of you want to share about, what you teach people?
I think that mainly the worry that my clients have, I train mostly seniors, few late, uh, a few older Gen Xers.
Yes.
So everybody is thinking about, their parents are either dying, have just died, or are getting really old and starting to having,
Hmm.
like lots of bigger problems. And it's kind of freaking them out. And
Yeah.
so what they worry about is you losing your sense of self, your identity, your ability to remember, your
Hmm.
identity, your freedom to be able to move in the
It's
world.
such a big deal. Such a big
Right,
deal. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And the thing that I can add to that is that condition of neurodegeneration begins its work 30 years before the diagnosis. So if you're
100%.
in your 20s, 30s, 40s, you are building the scaffolding
Yep.
right now for how you are going to be when you are 80, 90. It's
Mhm.
happening now. You don't wait until you get to be that age. You go, okay, I'm going to start eating vegetables. You can't.
Right, right. You can make some difference, but it would be a lot better if you
Yeah.
started, if you
You have
just
a
had a
longer
healthy lifestyle.
runway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
The runway gets shorter. It's never too late to start, but you get a short runway if you wait.
Oh my gosh, for sure, for sure. And my big thing is, I was looking at my mom died a couple of years ago, and my goal my entire life is to never let my physical health be the way that her physical health was. And
Right.
so far I've done really good. But my dad, he's 75 and he can outwork, 50-year-olds. He's just so, and some of that is genetic. He has really good genetics on his side of the family. Um, but he's never not been active. Like he just doesn't want to sit still. He just constantly is building and working and, doing all the things, which is beautiful. And then, I look at my mother-in-law, she's 87. And so, of course, she's slowing down a little bit. But she's also had a stroke. She's in a walker. She's overweight. And so there's such this vast difference.
Yeah.
I have a Pilates instructor and we do the reformer once a week together. And, she's almost 80. And the difference, just in those two is amazing because one just constantly moves. She's doing Pilates, she's doing all these things. And, but even she was saying the other day that she was disappointed when they went on vacation because she wasn't able to do this zip lining with her grandkids. And that made her mad. And it was because she couldn't climb up this rock wall thing that they had to climb up to get there.
Uh,
And, but she's like, that makes me mad. She's like, there's really not a lot I can do about it right now because she's got, like a bad hip and stuff. But I mean, outside of that, she can do most things. But just to me, like, I want to be able to experience everything with my kids and my grandkids. Like,
yes.
I don't want anything to limit that. I don't want, my grandson to look at me and go, well, I guess grandma can't do that.
Right.
I mean, of
Right.
course, once you get, like, 80, 90, there's going to be some things that maybe you're not going to be able to do. Um,
Sure.
in the long run, but I don't want that to be, a glaringly obvious thing.
Right. Yes. Yeah, it's that idea. Well, that's a great motivation is being there for your family and
Hmm.
being able to enjoy it all and be unlimited. And yes, I would say that as you get older, the things that do change and genetics plays a little bit of a role in it, but I mean, if your dad had just been lazy and
Hmm.
just, didn't care and didn't eat right and didn't take care of himself, even with the genetics, he wouldn't be where he is now. So it's
Yeah.
it's a combination of the two. But that idea of what is it that drives you, and then you just have to remember that when you have those days when you're like, I don't know, I don't feel so motivated. If you have a friend who will drag you, they're feeling good, they'll drag you. Come on, we're
Yeah.
doing
Get
this.
a dog. They'll wake you up and make you go.
Yes, a dog, walking a dog, right. And
Yeah.
then and then trainers are great for that too,
Hmm.
those who want to invest in that because, they're like your cheerleader and your unlicensed therapist and
And sometimes that's all you need.
yeah, right, right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, this is such a great conversation. Anything you want to leave the listeners with?
I just want everyone to realize that it's never too late to start, but don't wait. Do it now. Do it even though it's not the perfectly right time for it.
Hmm.
The conditions will never be perfect. And there is an expiration date. So don't wait until you really feel like it's too late to start.
Yeah.
Start now.
Yeah.
Start before you're ready. Start before it's perfect and start slow. Don't try to do, oh, I'm going to run a marathon if you've never run,
Right.
right?
Yeah, that's
Just
not that's not a smart idea.
yeah, walk a half a mile. So
Right.
the same thing with resistance training. If you're needing to build muscle, then resistance training is something you can start very slowly with body weight and then with light weights and bands and then
Mhm.
advance to something heavier.
Right.
And it's worth it. I mean, it's your life.
It's your life, and we've been lied to. We've been lied to,
Yeah.
right, Janet? We've been
Yes.
told like this is just a part of aging. I have so many women that come,
Yes.
even with their hormones, like, oh, this is just part of aging. You're just gonna feel this bad. Your knee
Right.
hurts because you're old. Your
Right.
hormones are off because you're old.
Yeah.
I had a 20-year-old yesterday as a client, and we were talking about her cycle, and she was telling me about it, and she's like, it's just this isn't just normal. And she's telling me, I said, sweetie, honey, this isn't normal. Like you shouldn't be experiencing these things. She goes, really? I shouldn't throw up when I have my period? No,
No.
no, you really shouldn't. Like that's it might be common amongst you and your friends, but it's not normal. That's not your normal body function, and we can do something
Wow.
about that. And she was blown away, and it's just because we don't know these things. Like
Right.
going into menopause, are you going to have some symptoms? Yes. Should it make your life a living hell? No.
No.
Absolutely not. You should not feel like you're losing your mind and you don't want to be around people anymore. I mean, we've been lied to. And so part of this podcast is just every episode, I want to just bust those lies. And this is another one of those. Like you can be vibrant, you can move, you just have to decide to. Like we
Right.
don't have to age poorly.
Right. You just triggered a thought. Can I recommend a book written by somebody else?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So what you said about that, we've been lied to. There is this thing where it's almost like it's a complicit thing where the people saying these things have not challenged the status quo,
Correct.
right? And so there's this doctor out there. His name is Dr. Peter Attia.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah,
That is a
he's
phenomenal book. Yes.
this book.
Yep.
Outlive. It's
Yeah.
huge, but you can read about the part you're interested in if you just want to read about diet or
Hmm.
exercise. But what he describes in here brings it crystal clear
Yeah.
that, we have been in medicine 2.0 so far from 1900 until recently. And that is doctors are there to catch you when you fall with disease or illness or injury. They can do surgery, they can give you shots, they can give you drugs, they
Yep.
can do treatments that will treat it after the fact that will extend your life. But we are now ready for 3.0, and 3.0 is about prevention,
Right.
110% prevention.
Uh,
Yeah. And that means it's up to us to
hmm.
do exercise, the eating right, the stress management, guarding our sleep, getting good sleep hygiene, being disciplined about going to bed on time, getting up at the same time,
Right.
monitoring our caffeine and alcohol intake, that kind of stuff. It's up to us.
Yeah.
And
Being healthy is active. Like
yes,
you can't be passive and expect to be healthy. It just does not work.
take the action and then let the habits form around it.
I know I love it. Take the action and let the habits form around it. That is so good, Janet. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, sharing your story and your wealth of knowledge. And all of Janet's stuff will be in the show notes, but go ahead and tell them where they can reach you.
Well, the two things I want to be sure if you're interested in more information, I have a fairly new YouTube channel and I post twice a week and it's all stuff around healthy longevity. So
Awesome.
it's all of the things we've talked about, but more in depth each time. They're like 5 or 6 minutes. They're not super long. And then also my book, there'll be a link for that, Elements of
Mhm.
Aging Well, my journey so far. And this is my story, but it's also what I learned besides diet and exercise,
I love
because
it.
I thought there are 10,000 diet and exercise books out there.
Yeah.
What does a woman in her late 60s want to say about aging?
Right?
And it's about setting boundaries, about habits, about decisions, about all the things around that support you in doing all the actions that
Right.
it's like that things that surprised me. I wasn't even prepared. Like, why are people questioning me? Why are people telling me to act my age?
And really, what does that mean? It means because you're challenging them and they're not ready for that challenge yet.
Well, yeah, it's a reflection on their own discomfort, and
Yeah.
that's okay. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Janet. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Lori.
Awesome. And I thank you, each and every one of you out there. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video because it's going to change somebody's life. So thank you all for listening. God bless each and every one of you. And I will see you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.